The next thing we're going to do, and we're trying to keep ourselves back on track, is we're going to break into small groups. Now, a lot of the Arabic speakers were not part of the session that we've just had. So I'm going to ask all of you who are in the room to help us welcome our Arabic speakers back into our small groups. They're probably in the foyer and we want to welcome them into the groups. So the first thing I'm going to ask is if the facilitators would move out now and go to their circles, and I will then explain to everybody else the process. So if the facilitators could move out now and go to their circles, I'll explain the process to everybody else. Daniel, you're going to facilitate for me? Thank you. I'm not going to let you off the hook today. Okay. Jennifer, you're also not off the hook. Thank you. Okay. Many of you were here yesterday, but not all of you. The process is this. I'm going to ask you in a moment to move out and join one of the small circles. And today is a little bit different from yesterday in that I'm going to ask you, please, if you can help gather some of our Arabic-speaking friends who are in the foyer and make sure that they are with a friend, but spread amongst the groups. And we're first going to introduce ourselves to each other. Your facilitators have a particular question to lead us into that, and I'm going to ask for your patience and indulgence that we can translate definitely into Arabic and maybe into Hebrew as well if you have a Hebrew speaker who doesn't speak English. So I'm going to ask the facilitators, everyone here, to move and go to a group. Once you are in your group, you have 40 minutes in the group to go through the process of asking questions. Our panelists are welcome to join groups if you would like to. We would love to have you. But the aim is here that every person here has something to say. We want to hear from all of you. So please, would you move out now to the circles, join one of the facilitators. Thank you. Welcome to those who have joined us, and sad farewell to those those whom we've lost. It's been a little bit of attrition. I hope some people find their way back into the hall. In just one moment, we're going to hear our last, content-based presentation for this amazing conference from a group of women from the group organisation known as Nashim Osot Shalom, Women Wage Peace. And these wonderful women are going to share some of their stories with us. However, before we hear from them, I'd like to summarise two things. The first is the discussion groups from yesterday. And as you will see, we have taken the key messages that you, yesterday, gave to us. Now, some of them we've heard already today repeated, but I think they are worth noting. That from the groups yesterday, we recognised once again that forgiveness is a choice. We recognise that justice is not needed for forgiveness to take place. We can begin the process. We are instructed to see the errors in ourselves, and that will help us see our common divinity, our common humanity, but also, one of the groups made the point, also see the divine. We have learnt over and over again that forgiveness is healing. Forgiveness is a process that takes generations. We're advised to believe in humanity and respect others. And we're also cautioned to do what we say. God has created not only us, but God has created the power of forgiveness. And we made a further observation. There's no political solution. We want the personal, not the political. Although I have been taken by the phrase, which I've heard at a Nashim Osot Shalom seminar also, that the personal is political, but we're not looking for our political leaders. Forgiveness makes me more human. We are all the children of Ibrahim, all of us here, so we are indeed brothers and sisters. Love and respect, separate the person from the act, accept emotions such as anger so that we can progress to forgiveness. A forgiving community is made up of individuals who learn from an early age to accept and respect themselves and others and communicate without judgment. Beautiful definition. And finally, the declaration that one of the groups came up with that I think we can adopt as the declaration for all of us at this conference. We are committed to opening our hearts and minds to the concept of forgiveness. That was from yesterday. Like all the sessions from this conference, this will eventually be uploaded onto the website of the International Forgiveness Institute, and we'll have links to it from the Elijah website as well, so that you can find it easily, to share what we learned here. And so will the findings of today's small groups find their way onto the website. So I might not type them up tonight, if you forgive me, but they'll get there. And I want to start with what I thought was the most fabulous group. I don't know which number it was, but they came up with a succinct, beautiful statement. They said, forgiveness is liberating and a way of life. Forgiveness is liberating and a way of life. Another group said, one of the major barriers to forgiveness education is misuse of the term justice. When justice means give me my due, then it may not ever be realised. We recognise the power of evil has corrupted the true meaning of justice. Interesting. Another group dealt with the obstacles to forgiveness education, and they saw 3 obstacles: hatred, superficiality, and political leadership. And the solutions are found in prayer, each person beginning with herself, and understanding the narrative of the other. Beautiful summary from the group. Again, another group dealt with barriers and said secularization has cancelled out the religious and faith foundation of forgiveness education. Oneself. We have to be sincere to enter into the process of forgiveness. Ignorance of the concept of forgiveness. Our cultural mentalities, and fear that forgiveness is coercive for the other. And I was so pleased to learn today that we can forgive, but we can't force someone else to forgive. That's not truly forgiveness. And the solutions appeal to the present curriculum, such as bullying, integrating the faith aspect. And Dr. Enright, the group said, you offer a tool adaptable universally. We can use dialogue methods. We can begin a process of small steps, humility, and foster a platform for sharing and listening to each other. Forgiveness Education 101, overcoming ignorance of the concept of personal self-worth of others, and humility is needed. And once again, I'll add my own personal need for you to continue learning about the other. Continue to learn about the other. The more, knowledge is not just power. Knowledge is an opening to the next phase. How to overcome the problems? Group 1, the barriers to forgiveness are fear, judgment, impatience, perception of forgiveness as weakness, the ignorance on the universe of the other, as well as the pursuit of material goals, and how to overcome it is by modelling forgiveness at home, school and work, look for the good in the world and in others, humility and self-reflection, as well as dialogue, and the sharing of the benefits of forgiveness. What we're going to do is draw up a wonderful chart of the obstacles and the solutions that you've come up with. And the final group that I have here is think globally, think big, and act locally, reminding us of the mantra in all our religions: if you save one life, you save the whole world. And it takes a village to raise a child. In spite of current dominant educational features, it will take a long time, but we have to keep working. Somebody said, like the starfish. So I can have an explanation of that another time. We in the monotheistic faiths, we've inherited a dual message, and we need to make that dual message function in an ideal way. I thank the group moderators and I thank the group participants for making this such an important part of our conference is sharing. Give yourselves a clap. You've done terrifically. Thank you.